Today around noon, Harris County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a call from a family members here at the 13,700 block of Mateus Trail in West Harris County. When they got here, they were told by two family members that they had not heard from one of their family members that resides in this home, a Asian male, elderly, had not been heard from for several months. They knocked on the door. Person came to the door. They were allowed to come inside. As they entered the home, they did see, the deputy did see a deceased male inside the home. He appears to have been deceased for quite a while. The female that does live in the home is also an elderly female. She was cooperating and was talking with deputies, and also now that homicide investigators have been called out, along with IFS investigators and anthropology will also monitor the deal. As of right now, we don't know what the cause of death was. We'll have IFS determine a more in-depth on what we have left of the remains and determine from there if we have any actions as far as any criminal charges or anything as right now. Any questions?
So the lady, she was in the home?
She was in the home. She is related to the decedent. I think she's a spouse of the decedent. We don't have, as far as a timeline we have is several months, 5 to 6 months that we have not seen the individual. So that's why the family members first came over here to try to to see if they could see their loved one. And at that point they called us to say that they weren't able to come inside the house, but then we were able to get them in. So
I was hearing that the last contact by the family that showed up was potentially as long ago as February?
I think that is, that's about accurate too. It's about 5 to 6 months, or a little longer. So again, we'll have to determine IFS to see if what we have, mainly because the state of decomp is so advanced that there's not a lot to go on.
So how was the physical and mental status of the wife?
That's what we're looking at now to see what we have to deal with. Whether she has any type of mental illness, we don't know that. Nothing indicates that we've had that in the past with her or anything, but we don't want to go. I don't want to cause any or theorize on anything right yet on the female.
What was her explanation?
She really doesn't have one. She told us that she's just been taking care of her husband, and he's been sleeping. So that's what we were told. So,
is it a crime, like if somebody, let's say, somebody you live with dies and you don't report it? Is
it actually is it's called failure to report a death. Okay. It's probably that type of thing. But there's also certain parameters of defense to that type of act if the person is mentally unstable, or if they have in some sort of medical, Alzheimer's, dementia, certain things along those lines.
Okay.
And we're not ruling anything out on that farm. Maybe they do have some sort of medical problem.
Deputy, we were speaking earlier, and you said that there may be a lesson to be learned here potentially about older family members and.
Well, yeah, that is a very good point. We would like, we'd like to have more people. Yes, it is good to check on your elderly family members, your elderly neighbors. Try to make more of an effort to reach out to people. Sometimes like this, maybe there's not so much contact, but if you can stop by more and check on people, it's just being more of a good family and a good friend.
And this may not even be a criminal situation, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, we're too early right now to determine that. Once we get more from IFS, and then also interviewing with the wife more as far as more of the medical side, we'll see what we have.
Do you know the wife's age?
I don't have that age. I know they're both maybe in 60s, but I can't determine as far as what age yet.
Okay. So are you going to take her downtown to do interviews? Or what's
right now we're interviewing her here.
Okay.
We'll just go from there and see from that. So, all right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.